I'm going to get the headstall and the reins all in one hand so that I don't put the reins over his head until the bridle's on, and I don't put the bridle on without the reins. And I've rubbed him around the face, around the area there, and I've had my fingers in his mouth. He doesn't seem too worried about that. I can rub over his ears where the brow band's going to go. I'm going to keep this on to control his head. Put that over under his chin, and then I'd like to swap hands here. Put this hand between these ears. I've got it over his right eye. And just get the bit down, lift it up, put the far ear in. I'll try and tip the ear forwards and in, and then tip this ear forwards and in so I don't just drag it over his ears. And I do a bit of riding with the halter first, so I've established some guiding before I put the bridle on, and then had to do all my steering with a bit. But later we'll cover, you know, how you could bridle them and long rein them for a couple of weeks before you ever rode them, if you wanted to really do a job where you'd be sure that you could control your horse. I tend to ride in areas where I don't have to have 100% control. Now that's on there. The first thing I'm going to need to do is just check that I can get some lateral flexion with a bit. So I'm just going to put some pressure on and release whenever that head comes around. So his head's coming around, but he's sort of hanging on that a little bit. Come around the other side. Check this side out. Reach down. Wait for the lateral flexion. I don't want to just pull him around and force him to open his mouth. It'd be really nice if I could do this in a way that he didn't have to open his mouth and get worried by this. Give it back, let him have a think. That's good, give it back. So much for you being unfriendly. You're being a nuisance, mate. Come around, and I'm going to leave this halter on underneath when I get on there, just so that, you know, if everything went wrong, I could just bend him with the halter or take hold of the halter. One side of the bit at a time. If I could just get him to there, relax to one side of his jaw. Release every time he relaxes. There, step him back a little. Change sides. Get him to relax this side of his jaw. There, release every time there's a bit of a relaxation in the pole. And eventually he'll step back with this right front. I can just set it up that he decides to step back rather than just pull on the bit or push on the bit if I'm in front of him. Set this one up. There, that's nice. And then the right foot should come back again if I just wait. There, and release. So here we go, bend him a little and release. Same on the other side. So it just starts with one rein at a time, just flexion. There, jaw starting to relax. Same this way, just waiting. Relax. Ask. Relax. His feet came, I'm going to want that anyway, so I'm not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to bend him, put my right leg back. There, give him a rub. He feels like he's pushing a little, so my left leg gets a little busy to disengage, take the power away. There, and then release. So actually mouthing isn't just about the mouth. It's about getting the body set up so that he can relax, and there we go. And hold that a little and wait for him to stop pulling. Don't have to outmuscle him, I just have to not reward him for trying to take it off me. I'm going to wait till his right front leg steps towards the camera. So he's sort of leaning on the side of the bit, so just wait till he steps towards you. Nearly. He's pretty close to getting it there. There we go, and just release to that and rub. Same thing, he should step towards the camera. I'm just going to annoy him with my left leg. There's the change in balance. There's the foot. Give him a rub. There you go. Move the... That's pretty nice. Release to that. 7 sessions until now, or 8 with the ride out, but still it's only probably 7 hours, 7 and a bit hours. There's not a lot of time. Nose to the left, get the feet to the left, left front. He's sort of pushing, so I'm just going to move the hind. He's never going to find out that leaning on that helps him. I think this is where people go wrong at the beginning. We worry so much about their mouth that we teach them to lean on us in the desire not to hurt them, which I don't want to do either. But I don't want him to learn that leaning on that thing is ever going to benefit him. The other arm, so that I know this is the halter, this is the hand that can control him. Take that one up to the top. Now I don't want to take this off with his head in the air, so I'll get it halfway off. And my right hand's on his pole. If he threw his head up, I'd lift the slack out and hold it in his mouth. And if he drops his head, I'll let it start to come out. So I'm going to try and encourage his head down. Down, there we go. And let that just drop out of there. And everything's off in one go. So you don't have him running around with the rein still around his neck and dragging your bridle around. Apart from breaking your gear, it can scare the living daylights out of him. Okay, so that's him. We'll just have a break while I change all the gear over to the other horse and see how that one goes.